Hello, and welcome to the 10 Simon Show, where we discuss everything about raising geniuses. My name is Chris, and I'm your host. Today, today we'll be talking about the age your child's brain changes and why it matters. The age your child's brain changes and why it matters. Thank you so much for joining us today on today's episode of the 10 Time Morning Show. And if you are here for the first time, please do well to subscribe to this channel so that you can actually get notifications whenever we are live. We do this every Monday to Friday by 7 o'clock. And so I wouldn't want you to miss it. Also, if you have any parent or you have a friend or a co-worker or you have someone who you know definitely, absolutely needs what we're sharing, please take a moment to share this episode with them so that they can also get value. Remember, when you share good things with people, they see you as a good person, right? And so I know you want that as well. Right. So I'm just going to check right now to see how many people are live with us. And so if you are here, just type let me know, and let me know as well where you are watching from. So let me know. I'm checking to see
I'm just
where
going to check right
where you
now
are
to
watching from. So do well to let me know. It's gonna be an amazing session today, and I have so much in store for you. All right. So we'll spend this week talking about math and reading and how the problems parents see are usually symptoms of something deeper. That's what we spent all our time doing this week. And today I want to zoom out. Miss Feinwa, welcome, welcome. Today I want to zoom out and talk about something that explains a lot of what we've been discussing. Okay, there's an age where your child's brain fundamentally changes how it learns. And this is as a result of something that we have seen happen. I don't know why, but we started seeing a lot of uptick in the ages of children that are brought to us or that we kind of like are expected to work with. And I'm seeing children now who are 15 years. I'm seeing children who are 17 years. I'm seeing children who are 14. And first thing is, when we see that, the first thing I'm like, we're not the right people. This is not us. And there is a reason for that. There's a reason for that. The reason is because we know this particular thing. We know that there is an age. There's an age that your child's brain changes. And the thing about this is that if the right foundations are not in place by then, everything that comes after it gets significantly harder. Not necessarily that it's not possible anymore, they just get harder. You see, around age 7 to 8, something big happens in your child's brain. Developmental psychologists call it the shift from concrete operational thinking to more abstract thinking. I know, fancy words. Okay, but the concept is very simple. See, before age 7 or so, your child learns by doing. They touch things, they want to touch it, they move things around, right? They move things around, and they want to know exactly where things are equally. They learn that 2 plus 3 equals 5 by physically putting 2 blocks next to 3 blocks and counting them. Everything is concrete, everything is visible, everything is tangible, right? However, after this shift, their brain starts being able to handle abstract concepts. So when I mean abstract concepts, I mean the child does not need to see the blocks anymore. They can now do 2 plus 3 in their head. They can now start understanding things that they can't see, fractions, grammar rules, scientific concepts. That brain is ready to work with ideas, not just objects. This is a massive leap. And it's one of the reasons school suddenly gets harder around, you see that primary three, or you people call it year three now, around that year three, year four, ordinarily a child that has been doing well in primary one, primary two, boom, they get into year four or year three, and all of a sudden things just gets a bit harder because the work shifts. I remember even being in primary one and primary. I remember primary three and primary four were so tough. The reason is that it was almost like we went from playing to being serious. We went from like, oh, I can manage this. So this is not child's play, right? And so we see a lot of parents who notice this, who see this as well with their own kids. So the work shifts from concrete to abstract, and every child in the class is expected to make that leap at roughly the same time. Now, the thing is that some do while some don't. But here's where it gets serious. Here is where it gets serious. If a child enters this space with solid foundations, if they already have their foundations in place, in check, then that transition is smooth because they have been building blocks. Like they've been building blocks literally and figuratively, right? They understand quantity, they understand letters and sounds. They've got the basics locked in. Now, their brain can take all of that concrete knowledge and start building abstract understanding on top of it. Why? Because they have already played around with the physical, so they know exactly what to expect with the other one. They know, right? So, but if a child reaches 7 or 8 and the foundations are shaky, when you now bring on that abstract work, it has nothing to sit on. The teacher says a fraction is part of a whole, and the child cannot picture it because they never really understood what is a whole. Or the teacher says write a sentence using a metaphor, and the child is still struggling with basic sentence structure. The thing is that the work keeps moving forward, but the child is stuck. And this is where you start seeing children fall behind in year three, in year four, in year five, and the gap widens every year. The gap widens every year. It's because they are being asked to think abstractly about things that they never understood concretely. Because when you don't understand things concretely, then there's no way for you to even understand what is being taught. So I know some of you are listening now, and some of you will also still listen, and you'll be like, but my child is already 9, 10, 11, and you are thinking, hey, this is the problem I'm facing. Or have I missed the window? Well, no, you haven't. You haven't missed the window. The brain is incredibly adaptable, but you do need to change what you are currently doing. You need to change your approach. You need to change your approach. Because if your child is past this age and has gaps, the worst thing you can do is just to push forward or to say, oh, just need more lesson teachers, or let's just push. They just be working on primary, whatever it is. Maybe they are in primary four. You say, let's keep doing primary four work. You know, he'll catch up. He'll catch up. No, he won't catch up. It will just get harder. And then that is when the true learning barriers actually start to form. Because when a child now identifies that this thing I'm not really that good at it, or I've been trying and it's not working, they start losing interest. And when they start losing interest, they start convincing themselves that they're not good. They start convincing themselves that they're not good at those things. And what you're going to now see is that it should not be incredibly harder for them to even come back to the table of learning. So if your child is past this age and has these gaps, the worst thing you can do is just push forward more homework, more cramming, more just try harder. No, that doesn't work because you are trying to build on a foundation that is not there. So what works is going back, finding where the gap started, go back to that level and feel it. Let me tell you, I'll tell you guys a story. right? Yes, he might feel uncomfortable that a 10-year-old might need to revisit concepts that they did when he was 6 years old. It feels uncomfortable, but if you target that thing for 6 weeks, right? It's worth more than 6 months of struggling forward or of trying and nothing is working, of building the apathy. So you're not holding them back, you're giving them the ground to stand on so that they can actually move forward. Let me give you two children. Both children were assessed at the age of 10, right? Both in the same school, same class, same teacher. Now, child A had a parent who was intentional in the early years. They played counting games, they read together every night, they made sure the basics were solid. And so when child A hit the abstract phase, the transition was smooth because the parent had been doing all the work before now. New concepts, they click quickly because there was always something to connect to. It was easier for them to understand, it was easier for them to click. However, child B had a different experience. They had a busy household, the parents and mom, they were always working. The early years were a bit chaotic. He was trying to, it was replaced with nannies, and some foundational concepts were missed. Not anyone's fault. Life happens. But then by age 10, that child was working 3 times as hard as child A on the same material and yet was getting worse results. And not because child B was less intelligent. He had great processing speed. He had everything, just the foundations that was wrecking him. And so the reason why he was struggling was that they were trying to do abstract work on a shaky foundation. And so once they brought in for assessments, we identified the gaps and we went back to fill them. Child B started catching up, and within one term, not because anything about the child changed, the foundation changed. That boy, that same boy, he caught up immediately. He caught up immediately. Let me tell you another story. We had this parent, her child was in SS1. As at that SS1, this boy had a lot of gaps in the younger ages that he was affecting every single thing he was doing in that SS1. Reading, maths, thinking, everything. And so, like, when the parents came to us, we told them, man, we don't work with other kids because we like to work with children who are still in that formation years because we know that it's easier for us. But the woman kept begging and begging and begging. And then we eventually took her. It took us work. We went back. The child was SS1. We went to like primary 4 to start filling gaps, filling gaps, filling gaps, filling gaps. Do you know that 6 months after, it's not even just gaps that we filled? Because after 6 months, the parents came and said that the teachers are in awe and they are shouting, "What did you do? What did she do?" And at the time, we had not even started working on SS1 work. We were just working on the gaps alone. So I see this a lot of times. I see this a lot of times. You need to be able to troubleshoot where your child is. You need to be able to know. You need to be able to know. And when you know, you can now use that to help them. You can now use that to help them. So I want you to share this episode. This is so important because share this episode with a child or with a parent with a child who has a child between the ages of 5 and 8, because this is the window when everything happens. What they do now sets the trajectory for everything that comes later. Okay? What they do now, that's what sets the trajectory. And so you want them to do the right thing by getting this information today. So I hope that this makes sense. I hope that you enjoyed today's session, right? I hope that you enjoyed today's snippet because I like to break things down so you understand them one after the other. If you have not hit subscribe, do that now because we'll be back on Monday with a very big one. Congratulations on staying to the end. If this helped you, then share this stream with one of your loved ones. On Monday, we're going to talk about a topic that I like very much. This topic has put me in a lot of trouble, a lot, and it's why extra lessons don't work for your child. It's gonna be here on this channel, same time, same place. Do not miss it. Thank you so much for joining. And if this helped you, make sure you share this episode with your friends, share it on your WhatsApp status, and then I wish you all the best. Have a great morning.